I told my best friend I had found the one on a Thursday night, in the corner booth of a diner that still remembered us better than most people did. Mia Harper was stirring sugar into coffee she never drank, her engagement ring flashing every time the spoon touched the side of the mug. I said it like a man making an announcement he had practiced in the car. I think Rachel might be the one. The spoon stopped. Mia did not gasp. She did not smile and squeeze my hand the way a best friend was supposed to. She simply looked down at the diamond on her finger as if it had become too heavy to keep wearing. Then, with hands that barely shook, she slid the ring over her knuckle, placed it on a folded paper napkin between us, and went silent. That was the moment I realized I had not come there to tell her good news. I had come there hoping she would stop me. Before I tell you what happened after that ring hit the napkin, do me a favor. If you have ever mistaken silence for strength, or waited too long to say what mattered, like this story and subscribe. And tell me in the comments, would you rather risk a friendship for love, or stay quiet forever? For 12 years, Mia had been the person I called before I called anyone else. We met in a hospital waiting room when my father was having heart surgery and her little brother was getting his appendix removed. I was 25, wearing a suit I could not afford for a job interview I missed, and she was 23, sitting cross-legged on a plastic chair with a paperback novel and 2 vending machine coffees. She handed me one and said, "You look like you're one bad sentence away from breaking something." That was Mia, gentle but never soft in a way that let you lie comfortably. She learned that I built custom furniture out of a garage behind my uncle's house. I learned that she wanted to become a school counselor because, in her words, kids tell the truth until adults teach them not to. Over the years, we became each other's emergency contact, moving crew, holiday backup plan, and late-night witness. When life hit either of us hard, the other one showed up before being asked. People assumed we were together so often that we learned to answer without thinking. "Just friends," she would say. "Family," I would add. I told myself that word made us safe. Family could not be ruined by a kiss you could not take back. Family was the box I put my cowardice in so it looked noble. Then Mia met Colin Reeves. Colin was the kind of man parents trusted on sight. He wore tailored coats, remembered names, sent flowers to her mother after knee surgery, and worked in commercial lending with a calm voice that made every sentence sound insured. He was not cruel. That mattered because if he had been cruel, I could have hated him cleanly. Instead, he was decent in all the visible ways and distant in the private ones I only noticed because I knew Mia's face. When she got engaged, she told me in my workshop while I was sanding a walnut table. The ring looked too bright under the fluorescent lights. "He asked last night," she said. I kept the sander running 2 seconds too long. "That's big," I managed. "It is. Are you happy?" She looked at the ring. "I'm trying to be." I should have asked what that meant. Instead, I heard the fear under her answer and respected it like a fool. So when my sister set me up with Rachel Jensen, I said yes. Rachel was kind, smart, and funny in a dry way that caught me off guard. I enjoyed her. I admired her. I wanted very badly to become the kind of man who could love her. That was why I told Mia in the diner. I thought if I said it out loud, the door in me would finally close. But when Mia went silent, every neon reflection seemed to accuse me. "Mia," I said carefully, "why did you take that off?" She wrapped both hands around her mug. "Because if you found her, I need to stop pretending I'm fine." Pretending about Colin? About everything. "Look at me." She did, and I almost wished she had not. Her eyes were wet, but no tear fell. That was worse somehow. Mia crying was rare. Mia refusing to cry meant she had been hurt long before the conversation started. "I'm happy for you, Nate," she said. "No, you're not." Her mouth trembled. "I want to be." "Then tell me what just happened." She pushed the ring an inch closer to me, like evidence. "This happened because I thought I had already lost my chance to be honest. And tonight you made it official." My pulse got loud in my ears. "Your chance to be honest about what?" She let out a breath that sounded almost like a laugh, but there was no humor in it. "Don't make me say it while you're telling me you love someone else." I didn't say I loved her. You said she might be the one. I said I think. And I took off a ring. Apparently we're both using weak words for strong things. She reached for her coat. I grabbed the ring before it could slide off the napkin, then stopped myself from reaching for her wrist. Please don't leave like this. I have to. Why? Because if I stay, I'll either lie to save you or tell the truth to hurt us both. She walked out into the rain without the ring. I sat there for a full minute with Colin's diamond in my palm and Rachel's name burning like a receipt for something I had not truly bought. Then I paid for 2 coffees, left too much cash on the table, and ran after Mia. She was halfway down the block, shoulders hunched beneath a camel-colored coat, hair darkened by rain. She did not turn when I called her name. That scared me more than anger would have. Anger meant there was still a door open. Silence meant she was building a wall while walking away. Mia, stop. She kept going. I stepped in front of her near the corner pharmacy. You forgot this. I didn't forget it. I opened my hand. The ring gleamed under the streetlight, cold and perfect. She looked at it, then at me. I can't put it back on. Then don't. You don't understand what that means. I'm trying to. No, you're trying to fix the part of this that makes you feel responsible. That landed because it was true. I had always been good at practical rescue. Broken shelf, dead battery, hospital chair, loan paperwork. Give me a problem with screws or numbers and I could make myself useful. Give me a woman I loved standing in the rain without her engagement ring, and I did not know where to put my hands. I am responsible for what I said. I told her. You're responsible for what you mean. The rain made a silver line down her cheek. I wanted to wipe it away. I did not. What do you mean, Mia? She looked past me at traffic, at people under umbrellas, at anything easier than my face. Colin proposed because he knew I wanted a family and a life that didn't feel like an emergency. He's steady. My parents love him. My principal thinks he's wonderful. Everyone says I'm lucky. Are you? She closed her eyes. I thought lucky would be enough. And now my best friend just told me he found the woman he wants, and my first feeling wasn't joy. It was grief. That is not fair to Colin. It is not fair to Rachel. It is not fair to you. My chest felt too small for my heart. And what about you? That was when she finally cried. One tear, quick and furious, like it had escaped against orders. It hasn't been fair to me for years, she whispered. I drove her home because the rain turned harder. She sat in the passenger seat holding the ring box I had found in her coat pocket. Colin's name appeared twice on her phone. She turned it face down both times. You need to talk to him, I said. I know. Not tonight if you can't. Tonight because I can't keep borrowing courage from shock. At her apartment building, I parked by the curb but did not turn off the engine. Mia unbuckled her seatbelt, then paused. Tell Rachel the truth. I swallowed. What truth? She looked at me with exhausted tenderness. That you said, the one, and chased someone else into the rain. Then she got out. I wanted to follow her upstairs. I wanted to ask if I was the reason she removed the ring. I wanted to say the sentence that had been living behind my ribs for years. But she was still engaged until she wasn't. I was still seeing Rachel until I told the truth. A confession made in the middle of unfinished promises would not be romantic. It would be selfish. So I went home alone. My house was quiet in the way a place becomes quiet when you finally hear your own lies. I called Rachel before I could talk myself into waiting. She answered on the 3rd ring. Hey stranger. Good gallery recovery day. Rachel, I need to be honest with you. There was a pause. She was smart enough to hear the shape of bad news. All right, she said. I told her I had enjoyed every minute with her, and that I respected her too much to pretend I was more available than I was. I told her there was someone in my life I had unresolved feelings for, and I should have admitted that before asking her out again. She did not shout. She did not comfort me either. Is this someone your best friend? She asked. I closed my eyes. Yes. I wondered. That hurt worse than accusation. I'm sorry. I believe you, she said. And I'm disappointed. Those can both be true. They can. Don't call her the one until you've done the work to be worthy of saying it. Then she wished me well and hung up. The next morning, Mia did not answer my first text or my second. At noon, she sent one sentence. I ended it with Colin. I need a day. I read it 5 times. Ended it. 2 words that should have made me relieved. Instead, they made the floor tilt because now there was no convenient obstacle to hide behind. Only grief, consequences, and the terrifying possibility that what we felt might be real enough to damage. I wrote back, take all the time you need. I'm here. Then I deleted, I love you. That afternoon, Colin came to my workshop. He arrived in a charcoal overcoat, rain still beating on his shoulders, looking less angry than stunned. In his hand was the ring box. She said she couldn't marry me because she had been dishonest with herself, he said. Then she said your name without saying your name. I said nothing because there was no respectful answer. How long? He asked. There was nothing between us while you were together. That is not what I asked. I set down the rag in my hand. I've loved her longer than I admitted to myself. His jaw tightened. And did you tell her that?
No.
Convenient. Cowardly, I corrected. Not convenient. His eyes came back to mine. He was proud, but he was not stupid. He knew the difference between betrayal and heartbreak, even if both hurt. I don't know whether to hate you, he said. If there was an affair, I would. But she looked me in the eye and told me I deserved someone who didn't have to practice being happy with me. Do not let her burn her life down just to become your almost. Then he left the ring box on my workbench. Mia came to the workshop the following evening. She wore jeans, a gray sweater, and no makeup. The absence of the ring was so visible it felt like another person had entered ahead of her. Colin came here, I said. I know. He told me. Why did he leave the ring? Because he said if I was done, I should be done. But he couldn't watch me hand it back twice. She looked at the box, then away. You don't have to be here, I said.
Ido.
Why? Because yesterday I made a choice that affects you, and I don't want you writing a story in your head where I did it for you. That stopped me. She stepped closer, careful, like each foot of distance mattered. I ended my engagement because I could not marry Colin honestly. Not because I expect you to catch me. Not because you owe me a happy ending. Not because Rachel is gone now. I need you to understand that.
Ido.
Do you? I'm trying. Her mouth softened, but her eyes stayed guarded. Trying is not enough for the next part. What is the next part? We figure out whether this is love or panic. The sentence hurt because it was exactly the kind of truth Mia would tell. I wanted to sweep 12 years into one clean answer. Instead, Rachel's warning echoed in me. Do the work. All right, I said. How? No kissing because we're lonely. No promises while everyone is bleeding. No using our history as proof that will work. And no pretending nothing changed. I leaned back against the bench. Those are a lot of rules. They're boundaries. I know. I looked at the ring box, then back at her. I respect them. For the first time since the diner, she breathed like someone setting down a heavy bag. Good, she said, because I can't lose you and myself in the same week. We did not touch that night. We made coffee in the workshop because neither of us wanted to sit in the house with its softer lighting and more dangerous memories. We talked about logistics first. Her parents were shocked. Colin was hurt but civil. The wedding venue deposit was gone. She had taken Monday off work so she could call vendors without doing it between counseling sessions with children. Then, slowly, we talked about us. Do you remember that Christmas you got the flu? She asked. The one where you broke into my house with soup? You gave me a key, Nate. Emergency key. Flu does not count as burglary permission. You were lying on the bathroom floor telling me the tiles were judging you. They were. She smiled, but it faded quickly. I almost told you then. I looked at her. Told me what? That I was in love with you. The workshop seemed to go very still. Outside, a train sounded somewhere beyond the neighborhood, low and lonely. Why didn't you? You had just lost your mom. Every time someone tried to care for you, you looked like you were bracing for another goodbye. I thought if I told you, I'd become one more thing you had to survive. I remembered that winter in flashes. Condolence cards, casseroles, Mia asleep in my armchair because she would not leave me alone in the house. I remembered wanting to put my head in her lap and ask her to stay forever. Instead, I had told her she was the closest thing I had to family. The word came back now like a sentence handed down by a judge. I thought I was protecting us, I said. From what? From me ruining the only steady thing I had. Mia looked at me then, really looked. You don't get to call me steady when you never asked what it cost me to stand still. I deserved that. You're right, I said. She blinked, surprised. Maybe she had expected defense. I had too. I used our friendship as a shelter, I continued. And I let you keep showing up because I was afraid if I asked for more and you said no, I'd lose the place I went when everything hurt. Her eyes filled again. I would have said yes. The words nearly broke me. I took one step toward her, then stopped. Boundaries. Work. Worthy. I need to say something, I told her. But not as a demand. She nodded. When I told you Rachel might be the one, I was trying to force a door closed. I thought if I said it out loud to you, I could become the man who meant it. My voice roughened. But the second you took off that ring, I knew I had been measuring every woman against the person sitting across from me. Mia closed her eyes. I'm not asking you to choose me tonight, I said. I'm telling you the truth I should have told you years ago. She opened her eyes again. I love you, I said. Not because you took off a ring. Not because Colin is gone. Not because I'm lonely. I love you because every version of my future that ever felt honest had you somewhere in the room, and I was too scared to ask why. She covered her mouth with one hand. No ring, just fingers trembling. I can't answer that tonight, she whispered. I know. I want to. I know that too. She laughed once through tears. You're being annoyingly decent. I'm new at it. Don't interrupt. That made her smile for real, and the sight of it loosened something in my chest I had been carrying for years. When she left, she hugged me at the workshop door. It was not the old hug, quick and familiar and safe. It was slower, careful around the new shape of us. When she stepped away, we were both changed and neither of us pretended otherwise. The next 2 weeks were the hardest kind of honest.
Mia cancelled the wedding in increments.
Every phone call reopened the wound. Her mother cried, then got angry, then came over with groceries because love often returns before pride knows what to do. Colin asked for space. Rachel sent me a short message saying she appreciated the apology and hoped I found clarity without hurting anyone else. Mia and I saw each other twice a week, always in public or in the workshop with the garage door open, as if sunlight could keep us accountable. We walked Shelby Park. We ate tacos from a truck and talked about ordinary things until ordinary felt brave. We argued once because I offered to pay a canceled florist fee, and she told me she did not need me to rescue her from the cost of her own choice. You can let me help, I said. I can, she replied. And I will when help doesn't feel like debt. That became the new line we learned to walk. I could bring her dinner after a bad day. I could not turn her heartbreak into a project. She could lean on me. She could not make me prove I was different from Colin by guessing every need she refused to name. One Saturday, she invited me to the elementary school where she worked. The spring family night fundraiser was short volunteers, and it was exactly the kind of mild chaos Mia loved. Folding tables, donated cupcakes, children sprinting in sneakers, a raffle basket shaped like a pirate ship, and a microphone that squealed every time the principal touched it. I need someone tall who can hang string lights and not flirt with the PTA president, she said. I can promise one of those. She gave me a look. I'll hang the lights. For 3 hours, I watched Mia move through the gym like a person built for usefulness. She comforted a crying child, redirected an angry father with calm firmness, and laughed when a kindergartner handed her a frosting-free cupcake for later. She was not waiting to be loved into becoming whole. She was already whole, tired and luminous under cafeteria lights. At the end of the night, Colin walked in. He was not expected. Mia's hand tightened around a box of raffle tickets. I took one step, then stopped. This was hers before it was mine. Colin wore a navy suit and carried a cardboard box. "I found the school files you left in my car," he said, "and the auction gift cards my office donated." "Thank you," Mia said. A few parents glanced over. The principal became fascinated by a stack of napkins. "Can we talk somewhere quieter?" Colin asked. Mia hesitated, then nodded. 5 minutes. They stepped into the hallway. I did not follow. Every old fear in me wanted to guard what was not mine to guard. Instead, I carried the box to the raffle table and sorted envelopes with hands that wanted to shake. When Mia returned, her face was pale but composed. "You okay?" I asked. "Yes." "What did he want?" "To ask if I was sure." "And are you?" She looked toward the hallway where Colin had gone. "Yes, but being sure doesn't mean it doesn't hurt." That was the midpoint I did not expect. Love was not proven by how quickly someone stopped grieving. If Mia could mourn Colin and still choose not to marry him, I could not demand her clean and uncomplicated. Real choices left marks. The fundraiser ended late. We carried trash bags to the dumpster behind the school, the air smelling of wet pavement and buttercream. Mia was quiet. "What are you thinking?" I asked. She tied a bag shut. "I'm thinking Colin was right about one thing." "What?" "He said I know how to leave a life, but not how to imagine the next one." I leaned against the brick wall. "Do you think that's true?" "Maybe." She looked at me. "I have a job offer." "Where?" "Denver. A district counseling coordinator position. I applied months ago before Colin proposed, before all of this got loud." "Why didn't you tell me?" "Because it was just an interview. And now, they offered it today." The dumpster lid banged in the wind. Somewhere inside the school, someone laughed, distant and bright. I could feel the old version of me rising, the one who would say something generous and safe because wanting too much felt dangerous. That version would tell her Denver was a great opportunity, that she should do what was best, that I would always be her friend. All true. All incomplete. "What do you want?" I asked. She seemed startled by the question. "I don't know." "That's allowed." "Is it?" "Everyone keeps needing me to know. Colin needs me to know I was right to end it. My parents need me to know I'm not falling apart. You. I need you to be honest," I said. "That's all." Her eyes searched mine. "And if honest means leaving?" My heart answered. "Then I'll help you pack, and I'll hate every box." She let out a shaky breath. "But I won't call that friendship if I'm secretly punishing you for going," I said. "And I won't call it love if I ask you to shrink your life to make me less afraid." Mia looked down at her hands. "I don't want to run to Denver just because Nashville is full of canceled wedding deposits and your face. My face is a historic landmark. People travel for it." She rolled her eyes, but she smiled. Then the smile faded. "I also don't want to stay because you finally said what I waited years to hear. Then don't decide tonight. I have 10 days. Then take 10 days. The near loss began there, not with shouting or a slammed door, but with a job offer printed in an email and the knowledge that loving someone did not give you ownership of their geography. During those 10 days, I learned what it meant to choose without grabbing. I did not send dramatic texts. I did not tell her Denver was too far or remind her how long I had loved her as if years were a down payment. I helped her make a spreadsheet because Mia trusted spreadsheets when emotions got too crowded. She made me add one line called heart, then refused to score it. On the 7th day, I asked Mia to meet me near the old hospital on West End. The waiting room where we met was gone, replaced by glass walls and a coffee stand. But outside, near the side entrance, one bench remained beneath a magnolia tree. It was close enough to memory to make my hands sweat. Mia arrived in a blue dress and a denim jacket, her hair pulled back, her face wary. "Is this where you murder me with nostalgia?" she asked. "Only emotionally." "Proceed." We sat on the bench with a foot of space between us. "I'm not here to tell you to stay," I said. "Okay. I'm here to tell you what staying would look like if you chose it. Not because you owe me, Not because leaving scares me, because you said you couldn't imagine the next life, and I can imagine one. I thought you should know. She turned toward me slowly. There's a counseling nonprofit looking for a program director. Mrs. Alvarez from your school asked if I knew anyone impossible enough to build it from scratch.
Mia's eyebrows lifted. Impossible.
Her word. I assumed it was a compliment. It is. I'm not saying it's better than Denver. It's less money at first. More chaos. Probably more grant writing than any decent person deserves. But it's here, and it's yours if you want to explore it. Mia stared at the paper I handed her but did not open it. And there's an apartment over the bookstore on Chapel that just opened. You once said you loved those windows. Again, not a reason to stay. Just proof that staying doesn't have to mean moving backward into the life you left. Her eyes shone. Nate, I'm not done. Of course you're not. I smiled. If you go to Denver, I will visit after you invite me. I will learn to hate airport parking. I will not make you responsible for my loneliness. If you stay, I want to date you slowly and intentionally, in daylight with no secrets and no borrowed rings between us. I want Sunday coffee and awkward first dates even though I know how you take your fries. I want to earn the right to be more than the person you call in a storm. Mia pressed the folded paper to her chest. And if you decide neither? I said, voice quieter. If you need to be alone for a while, I will grieve that honestly. But I won't turn cruel just because truth costs me. For a long moment, she said nothing. The magnolia leaves moved above us, glossy and green. When you told me Rachel might be the one, she said, I felt like the foolish part of my life had finally been named. I thought I had built a whole engagement over a closed door. I know. But when I took off the ring, I wasn't choosing you. I was choosing not to lie. I know that too. Do you? She whispered. I turned fully toward her. Yes, and that is one of the reasons I love you. Her face broke then, not into sadness but into something more frightening. Hope. I'm scared, she said. Me too. What if we ruin the friendship? We already changed it. That's not comforting. No, but it's true. I took a breath. Maybe the friendship was never as fragile as we thought. Maybe it was us who were fragile. She looked at the empty space between our hands on the bench. Can I hold your hand? It was such a simple question. Such a Mia question. Consent wrapped in tenderness. Courage wearing ordinary clothes. Yes, I said. She placed her hand in mine. No music swelled. No rain started. The city did not pause. Her fingers were warm, and my whole life seemed to narrow to the careful pressure of her palm. I'm not ready to say everything you said, she told me. You don't have to. But I can say this. She looked at me. When I imagine leaving, I feel relief and grief. When I imagine staying for Colin, I feel trapped. When I imagine staying for myself with the right to choose you slowly, I feel scared. A small smile touched her mouth. But I also feel awake. I carried that word home like a flame. 3 days later, she declined Denver. She did not do it for me. I know that because she let me read the email before she sent it. It said she was honored, but she wanted to continue building student support systems in Nashville and explore a local leadership opportunity. It did not mention love. It did not mention me. That made me trust it more. The climax did not happen in a ballroom or in front of a crowd. It happened in Mia's apartment with cardboard boxes stacked by the door because she had decided to move anyway. Not to Denver, not to Colin's future, but into a place of her own that did not carry the shape of the engagement. I came over to help pack books. Mia had more books than any reasonable person should own and insisted they had categories only she could understand. Child development does not go with mystery novels, she said. Both involve people hiding things. Never organize anything in my home again. Technically, this is your old home. She threw a dish towel at me. For an hour, we were almost ourselves, and then we found the shoebox. It was tucked behind winter scarves, labeled receipts. Inside were birthday cards, movie stubs, a photo booth strip from my 32nd birthday, and a letter with my name written across the front.
Mia froze.
I forgot that was there. I held the letter but did not open it. What is it? The thing I wrote and never gave you. When? The Christmas flu. I handed it to her. You don't have to show me. She stared at the envelope for a long time. Then she shook her head.
No.
I'm tired of letting old fear make current decisions. She opened it herself. Her hands trembled as she unfolded the paper. I can read it, she said. But I need you to not rescue me halfway through. I can do that. She sat on the floor amid boxes, and I sat across from her. Afternoon light came through the blinds in pale stripes. The letter was not dramatic. That made it devastating. She had written that she loved my stubbornness, my ugly laugh, the way I repaired chairs left on curbs because I believed broken things deserved patience. She wrote that she did not want to be my obligation after grief, but she could not keep pretending her heart only understood friendship. She wrote, if there is any part of you that wonders about me too, meet me honestly. If there isn't, I will learn to love you differently, but I need the truth so I can stop standing in a doorway. Mia lowered the page. Neither of us spoke. All those years, she had been waiting in a doorway I refused to see. I moved closer, slowly enough that she could stop me.
I'm sorry.
I know. I am sorry for every time I called you family because I was too afraid to call you the woman I loved. Her breath caught. And I'm sorry you had to take off another man's ring before I took off my fear. A tear slipped down her cheek. This time I did wipe it away, giving her time to pull back. She didn't. I don't want an almost, she said. You won't be one. I don't want to be the prize you get because you finally grew up. You're not. I swallowed hard. You are the person I choose now. When choosing you means changing my life, telling the truth, and risking the one relationship I was most afraid to lose. She studied me, searching for the weak seam in my words. What about Rachel? She asked. I ended it before I came near you with promises. What about Colin? You ended it before you came near me with promises. What about us? That part we build. Her eyes moved to my mouth, then back to my eyes. Slowly, painfully probably, she laughed through tears. Honestly, always. Even when it makes us annoying. Especially then. I reached for her hand. Mia Harper, I told you I found the one because I was trying to believe it was someone else. But it was you before I had the courage to know it, and it is you now with my eyes open. I love you. I want to date you, choose you, argue with you about book categories, and learn what we are when we stop hiding behind friendship. Her fingers tightened around mine. I love you too, she said. The words did not explode. They settled. They came into the room like they had always owned a key. Then she kissed me. It was soft, almost careful, and still it changed the furniture of the world. I had kissed women before and felt attraction, comfort, hope. Kissing Mia felt like coming home and stepping into the unknown at the same time. We pulled back before hunger could outrun tenderness, and she rested her forehead against mine. No borrowed rings, she whispered.
No borrowed rings.
No rushing because we lost time. We didn't lose all of it, I said. Some of it taught us how to stay. She smiled. That sounds like something you'd put on a wooden sign and charge too much for. Custom work is expensive. She kissed me again, laughing this time, and the sound healed something the first kiss had only opened. 6 months later, we went back to the diner. Not for an anniversary exactly. Mia said she did not want to celebrate the night she broke someone's heart, even if it led to the truth. So we celebrated the first honest conversation instead, which happened 1 day later in my workshop. But the diner mattered. It was where the ring came off. It was where the lie cracked. It was where silence finally became a door instead of a wall. We sat in the same booth. The neon still smeared red across the window. The coffee was terrible. Mia ordered it anyway and stirred sugar into it she would not drink. This time, her left hand was bare by choice. We were not engaged. We were not rushing to replace one future with another. She had moved into the apartment over the bookstore, taken the nonprofit job, and complained about grant writing with the passion of a woman exactly where she wanted to be. I had started leaving one night a week free from work, because love could not grow in the scraps left after exhaustion. Rachel later sent a postcard from a museum conference in Santa Fe. It said, "Clarity looks good on honest people." Colin eventually met someone through a colleague, and Mia cried with relief because decent people deserve decent endings. I loved her more for that. At the diner, Mia slid a folded napkin toward me. For 1 second, my body remembered panic. "What is that?" I asked. "Open it." Inside, she had written one sentence. I found the one too. I looked up at her. "Mia." She smiled, nervous and bright. "Too much." No, my voice nearly failed. "Not enough, actually." I took the pen from the check tray and wrote beneath her sentence. "Then let's keep choosing each other on purpose." She read it, and her eyes softened. The waitress came by and glanced at the napkin. "You two newlyweds?" Mia laughed.
No.
I looked at her bare hand, then at the woman who had been my mirror, my best friend, and finally my choice. "Not yet," I said. Mia kicked me under the table, but she was smiling when she did it. If the story made you think of someone you waited too long to tell, don't waste the next honest moment. Like, subscribe, and comment on purpose if you believe love is not only found once, but chosen again and again, especially after fear finally tells the truth.